As a progressive Republican, I believe it's not the government's business what we do with our private lives, but it's our business what the government does with our tax money.
I have served in my district for 24 years, and I have been a resident of my district for 46 years. So I know my district very well. I've seen the changes that have occurred there. When you talk about literacy, we need to start providing the training for our teachers, number one, to make sure that they can perform in the classroom to the extent that they can work with the children and bring them up in terms of the literacy of those particular kids.
Two things that we could adopt in the state of Florida issues. One is to not socially promote from 3rd grade to 4th grade, but have a literacy test, because we don't really teach literacy past 3rd grade. And anyone who's promoted from 3rd to 4th grade without being able to read and write is destined to failure. The other thing is giving a letter grade to the school. Each school gets a letter grade, A through F, based on how well the school has performed with respect to the students. As far as ethics is concerned, this is a really tricky area. My feeling about it is we need to have everything disclosed in public, and then either something is a crime or isn't, and that is a matter for the district attorney's office. And if it's a question of whether it's ethical or not, that's the question for the voters to decide.
There's a number of times that in the legislature we have passed ethics legislation in the House. With my colleagues voted for ethics. For whatever reason, we have not been able to get that legislation out of the Senate. But I think that ethic reform will eventually happen. And I'm hoping that when it does happen, that we have some kind of external oversight, perhaps a commission, to make sure that the ethics in government are followed not only by the elected officials, but also by the appointed officials. We need to look at preserving education, healthcare, but we also need to look at the loopholes. There's many loopholes in the tax, the structure in New Mexico. We need to have a better approach. I would like to see us come up with a progressive income tax so that those who can afford to pay the most will pay more.
As for the 0.25% tax on drinks, it's really not very much. More important is the notion that you can earmark taxes for education is kind of silly, because what simply happens is they take less money out of the general fund for education and spend it somewhere else. Education is important, and the other thing that we should be spending money on, because the way that our structure is set up, only the government can spend money on it, and that's infrastructure. If you can imagine, if we didn't have any roads, what would happen to our economy?
We broke it down by state government, by public schools, and by higher ed. Except for the $2 billion for public employees, the rest of it goes to the private sector contract. So it's a public-private partnership that helps create jobs, not only in the state of New Mexico, but also in the rest of the country. We not only need to legislate, but we also need to enforce. We need a judicial system to follow through on this and take care of those that have broken the laws. But we also need to provide treatment. Alcohol is a disease.
But no matter what you do, you can't keep someone from getting alcohol from his friend who isn't supposed to be getting it, and breathing into his percolator so he can drive his car. That's an attitude problem. The places where we have had great masses of immigration are the places where we've had the greatest increase in economic status. New York City, San Francisco, Boston. So we want to be very careful about who we admit. And I'm in favor of much broader immigration than we currently
ensure that the federal government moves on this. This is not a state-by-state issue. You know, unless the federal government acts and collaborates with the states, we're going to have difficulty in the courts in terms of immigration. So we need to make sure that the federal government moves on this to set the limits in terms of how we accept undocumented workers.